What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to look at rehab exercises for a condition called Quervain's Tenosynovitis, which is basically a wrist pain that involves the tendons for our thumb muscles. So if you look at my thumb here, this will happen on the thumb side of the wrist, and you can see these tendons here when I kind of resist my thumb that pop out. This one is called extensor pollicus longus. And then there's two over here, extensor pollicus brevis and abductor pollicus longus, and they create this thing called the snuff box on the wrist. When people have Quervain's tenosynovitis, these tendons will be painful, especially when the thumb gets tucked in and the wrist gets moved into ulnar deviation, which stretches those tendons. Okay, so if you've got pain over here in this region of these tendons, stay tuned for today's video. I'm going to show exercises for this issue. Our first exercises here are going to be basic thumb mobility exercises. For all of these, I would go for somewhere around 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. You can spread them throughout the day. The idea is just to kind of get the thumb moving and help those tendons sort of gradually build up their capacity and regain some mobility and decrease pain. So for the first one here, we're going to look at thumb extension. So this one, you're going to lift the thumb up away from your other fingers. Okay, so that's thumb extension. It's going to activate the thumb extensor muscles, which again, 2 of those are involved in this issue, extensor pollicus longus and extensor pollicus brevis. So we're just kind of activating those tendons and making them work, but in a very low load, kind of just mobility type fashion. So again, maybe go for 10 to 15 repetitions of thumb extension. And then I'm going to turn, so you can see thumb abduction. My thumb is going to go away from my palm. So the same idea, go for 10 or so repetitions and just work on going through that full range of motion and moving your thumb away from the other fingers, out away from the palm. And then for thumb flexion, you're going to move your thumb across your palm towards the pad of your pinky finger. You're just going to reach across. This will kind of stretch those tendons a little bit, so you may feel some discomfort. Just reach as far as you can without creating more than moderate discomfort. Okay, so you got that one, thumb flexion. And then for the next one here, we're going to combine the wrist with that thumb motion. So we're going to make it a little more challenging. We're going to go into thumb flexion and then a little bit of ulnar deviation of the wrist. Okay, so this is really going to challenge those tendons more. So just go as far as you can. If you hit any spots of sharp pain or anything, then that's your stopping point. We're just working on challenging those tendons, helping them kind of glide and lengthen. So thumb flexion and ulnar deviation. Okay, so those are your first 4 exercises. You can just kind of do this as a series. You're going to go thumb extension, thumb abduction, thumb flexion, and then thumb flexion with ulnar deviation. Our last 2 exercises here are going to be strengthening exercises. Because this is a tendon issue, if we look at the research, tendons do respond best to gradual loading, which means resistance training exercises. They can really help with pain and making the muscles and tendons stronger, so you're less likely to have this in the future. So try those mobility exercises, but then as things kind of desensitize, really focus on these 2 strengthening exercises. For these, I'm going to use a rubber band. If you don't have access to something like this that works well, you can just use your other hand as the resistance. But basically, the first one here, we're going to put our thumb up on top of our palm like we did before, kind of how we started out, and the rubber band's going to go around our palm like that. And we're going to work on, basically it's kind of like weight training for your thumb extensors. So you're going to lift your thumb away, kind of hold at the top for maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and then gradually go back down. So it's just like doing reps of any other strengthening exercise. You want to find a rubber band that's challenging and, go for somewhere in that 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps range. Do a little isometric at the top. If your thumb pain is really intense, you can just hold it up there. Sometimes isometrics can help reduce tendon pain. But basically, over time, you're looking to build up to where you're doing the whole movement, the concentric and eccentric contractions. And again, 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. You could do this every day or maybe every other day depending on how your symptoms respond. So that one is thumb extension. Again, if you don't have a rubber band, you can just use your finger on your other hand and just apply resistance that way. And just kind of the nice thing about using your other hand is you can grade the resistance and find the appropriate level. Whereas with the rubber band, you're kind of just stuck with what the rubber band offers. So that's thumb extension. For the other one, I'm going to turn. You're going to put your thumb, kind of move the rubber band down kind of around the tips of your fingers, and you're going to do thumb abduction. So again, that's the movement of your thumb going away from your palm. So you're going to hook the rubber band. It's sort of like if you were just opening, kind of the opposite of doing a gripping activity. The rubber band is resisting hand opening. So you're just opening against that, and that will work your thumb abductors. Same idea, go for 3 sets, 10 to 15 repetitions, and you can always use the other finger, your other hand if you don't have a rubber band. Okay, so those are the 2 you really want to focus on as things kind of desensitize. Eventually the mobility exercises will probably feel fairly easy, and you want to work on these strengthening exercises. All right, you guys, those are the exercises to try for de Quervain's tenosynovitis. As always, if you have any questions about the exercises, leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you. Just one other thing, I just finished writing my book and it comes out this month. It's called Rehab Science, just like my handle. It's 496 pages and it includes comprehensive programs for the 50 most common conditions. So it's basically kind of my YouTube account, but more comprehensive programs. And instead of just having a few exercises, the book has 3 phases of rehab. Basically like if you went to a physical therapist and they gave you a program that extended out over 6 to 8 weeks. So the issue I covered today, de Quervain's tenosynovitis, there's a program in the book for this. So if you're looking for a more comprehensive resource, the book is available on Amazon, and I'll put a link for it down in the description. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. See you next time. Bye.